Hi everyone, I'm Gravy and welcome to my review of episode 5 of the Last of Us series. So the reason I'm laughing is because I sound a bit sad. So this is a spoiler warning. If you don't want to hear about this episode, just don't watch it because we're going to be getting real into depth on some stuff and I'm going to be talking a lot about the feelings that go into this one. So I'd click right off on this. All right, everyone, this is my most anticipated episode. I've been excited about this because even before I knew anything, I figured episode 5 was going to be this episode, that all of this was going to happen in episode 5. So, if you're wondering, this is what my notes look like. So, we're getting real into depth here. All right, we start off not where we left off last episode, but 10 days before when the quarantine zone gets taken over by the hunters away from Fedra. This is showing what's leading up to everything that happens. Also, was surprised because I did not think it happened that quick. I did not think there was only 10 days. I figured the quarantine zone had been with the hunters for a while. That was interesting to me. It starts out with the protests and they're taking over the QZ, and Henry and Sam are hiding. They are obviously not part of the hunters. They don't necessarily seem to be part of Fedra, but they are probably somewhere in between, as at this point, that's all you know. And then even at this time period, Kathleen is looking for Henry. She has an entire group of people that have ratted to Fedra at some point and is asking them where Henry is. Some guy says he's with Edelstein, and that is the doctor that we saw in the last episode. So that guy, I don't know, he thought that was going to save all of them, but it didn't. Kathleen orders them to all be killed. So yeah.
When you're done, burn the bodies. It's faster.
I don't know what he expected. Edelstein helps Henry and Sam get into their hiding spot that we saw in the last episode in that attic area. And Henry is obviously scared for him and his brother. They realize that they have no ammo, very little food, so they do have to sneak out at some point in order to get some sort of supplies because they will die in here. Also, at this point, we realize that Sam is deaf. We've seen them using sign language before, but now it is apparent that he is deaf as he cannot hear Edelstein. Sam carries around a magic slate around his neck at all times, and this is how he communicates. Henry gives him crayons so he can draw all over the walls, which is a lot of what we see in the last episode. Then it scooches forward to 10 days later where Sam is painting his paintings, and Sam is hungry, so we know that their food shortage problem is becoming a real issue. They realize that Edelstein doesn't seem to be coming back. He's probably dead at this point, and we know that he is captured and then dies the next day. So they decide that they have to leave. They need a plan to get out of here because he's not going to bring them any food. In order to get Sam to feel strong, Henry paints an orange stripe across his face so he'll look like Super Sam, which is his little characters that he paints all over the wall. So he has a little superhero mask on. As they are going to leave, Henry looks through a window, and I think it's very cool because it's the store where Joel and Ellie were before, but the way the window reflects, the sign is orange and it goes across Henry's face just like Sam's little mask, and I just think that was a really cute detail. Henry then sees Joel and Ellie and thinks wow, those guys are good to have on the team, so might as well. So then his new plan is to follow them and get them to help escape from the QZ. Now we're back to where the last episode left off, where Joel and Ellie have guns pointed to their head by Henry and Sam. Henry is initially nervous about trusting Joel because he comes off as very gruff, which he is, and Ellie tries to get some trust forming, but Henry decides to trust him anyway, even though he's inclined not to. He knows he needs Joel's help, and he really won't get out of here with Sam without him. They all are eating now, some snacks, and Henry asks Ellie where she got them. She goes, "From Bill. He's dead." And I don't know. That made me laugh. I was like, I don't know. She's just so nonchalant about it. I love it. Later, Henry explains to Joel that Fedra sucked for the 20 years that they were in power.
You always heard Casey Fedra was
monsters, savages. Yeah, you heard right.
And that he himself was a collaborator. Joel basically calls him a rat. And then Henry also admits that he's never killed anyone and that even the gun he was holding to Ellie's head was not loaded. In the background, you can see Ellie showing Sam her joke book, and you can hear Sam laugh for the first time in what Henry calls a long time, which, that's sad. Henry explains his plan to Joel on escaping, and that includes the tunnels, which a federal officer told him was completely clear as of 3 years ago. So Joel's obviously skeptical because a lot can change in 3 years when it comes to infected. The fungus grows fast. They all decide to work together and they run down to where the tunnels are. And at this point, you can see Joel is tired. He's breathing very heavily. He's bent over. Like, he's really reaching his limit. Joel tells Ellie to pull her gun out, which shows the sign of trust between them is really growing. There's also, like, a funny moment when Henry refers to Joel as Ellie's dad, and then Ellie and Joel both say, I'm not your dad, at the same time. And I found it delightful. After walking for some time, the group realizes that there was a society down here in this tunnels at some point. There are walls painted very colorfully, and they walk in and the walls are still painted in childlike fashion. There's a goal to play like soccer, and there's a bunch of tables and rules. So there's obviously some sort of society with kids in these tunnels. At this point, you see a little page on the wall, and it says Danny-ish, and it has little drawings, and it says Our Protectors. This is straight from the game, and this is one of my favorite side stories in the game. I'm not going to get into that whole thing because that's like another thing I could talk about for a whole nother video. I could talk about how much I love the Ish side story. Basically, that's just a thing from the game, so if you didn't understand it because you haven't played the game, that's all it is. It's just a little Easter egg. Ellie and Sam find comic books down in the settlement, and Ellie tells Sam that she has some of these issues, and Sam explains that he does too. They bond over this, and you can tell that their relationship is really growing, and it's nice for them to have friends that are their own age. Sam carries around a magic slate around his neck at all times, and this is how he communicates with Joel and Ellie, who do not know ASL. When Ellie and Sam are bonding over their love of comic books, Sam teaches Ellie how to sign, endure, and survive, which is a line from these comic books. While the kids are bonding, Joel and Henry are sitting and watching them. And at this point, Joel apologizes to Sam for calling him a rat earlier because he was probably just trying to protect Henry, and sometimes you do what you have to do to protect the ones you love. Henry explains that Sam ended up having leukemia. The only way he could get the only drug that worked to help his leukemia was by getting it from Fedra. The only way Fedra would give it to him is if he gave them something great. That's why he gave up Kathleen's brother, Michael, who apparently was a great guy.
I am the bad guy because I did a bad guy thing.
Did you kill innocent people?
So Henry feels like a terrible person for doing this, but he did it to protect Sam. We jump back to Kathleen and Perry, and Kathleen is in her childhood bedroom, and she essentially says that she knows that Michael would want her to forgive Henry for what he did, but she's not going to do that because she's not Michael, and she believes that justice should be served. So she's going to kill him. It's now nighttime, and Joel, Ellie, Sam, and Henry are moving to get out of Kansas City. And as they're talking, Ellie is inviting Henry and Sam to Wyoming. As she's doing this, a gunshot fires and almost hits them. They realize it's from a sniper in a window farther away from them. And so Joel says he's going to go up there and sneak around behind the sniper. Ellie is very nervous about this, and Joel asks, "Do you trust me?" And Ellie says yes. A great sign in how much their relationship has grown. Yay! Joel ends up sneaking around the house, going behind the sniper, and he's not going to kill the sniper. He tells the sniper just to put his gun down and he can sit there. But the sniper points his gun at Joel, so Joel ends up having to kill him. Then he hears the radio that has Kathleen's voice coming over, basically saying that they're on their way, hold them down, referring to Joel, Ellie, Sam, and Henry. So that's going to be an issue. Joel is screaming at the group to run from his position in the window, and he now has the sniper, so he's going to try to help them from above, but he's screaming at them to run because there is a truck with a plow on the end of it, and it is running over all the cars, and it is going to kill the group. Ellie is shooting at this car that's trying to run her down. She ends up running out of ammo. Joel, just at the perfect second, reloads his gun and shoots the driver, so the truck stops, like swerves into a house and catches fire. Kathleen gets out of whatever vehicle she's in and tells Henry to come out. Henry's gonna come out as long as the kids are safe. The kids aren't safe. She's gonna kill the kids. Then she goes on this whole speech about how is it worth everything just for one person, and how when Sam got leukemia that it was his time to die and you can't cheat fate and all this stuff. I thought this was pretty ironic because you could say the same thing about her brother, but she uses it as like her moral high ground in the situation, but I really think that's like the epitome of her character. She points her gun at Henry and is gonna shoot him, and then the car starts sinking into the house. Guess there's a sinkhole there. The car's like going into the house now, like it's going down, and now there's just a big hole where the house was. And then in one of the craziest moments yet, an entire horde of infected jump out like running like an infected stampede at the camera. It was scary when it happened. They essentially start running. There's clickers, there's infected, there's runners. They're going everywhere. They're killing all these hunters. Joel is shooting from the window still, trying to kill the infected, which is also another thing straight out of the game. Something you have to do as Joel. The hunters are trying to run the infected over. It's not like super effective, but it's a good idea. Then, out of nowhere, after this whole horde of infected comes out, a bloater appears. The bloater is huge. And it doesn't really seem that, like, bullets really phase it a whole bunch. Like, he just kind of stands there. So there's not much you can do. Yeah. Perry tells Kathleen to run, and you know Perry's gonna die at this point. He tries shooting the bloater. It's literally just walking towards him, not even phased. And in a very cool moment, the bloater grabs Perry and begins to kill him in the same way that you can get killed as Joel when you play the game. I loved this. It scared me a lot when I was replaying it, is because like the way the bloater grabs Joel like this and like starts pulling his head, that's what the bloater did to Perry in this. And I thought it was a cute little Easter egg, and then he rips his head off. So Perry's dead at this point. That sucks. Ellie's hiding in the car, so she's separated from Henry and Sam now. And an infected, a clicker specifically, like acrobats her way into the car, and it looks like a child, and it's coming towards Ellie, so she opens the car door and blocks the clicker in, and the clicker is like on the window. It's super scary. Ellie sees that Henry and Sam are in danger. They're trapped under a car. Not really trapped. They're hiding under a car, and infected are grabbing at their feet and they're yelling for help. Ellie goes over there and is trying to help them now. And she does another cool game thing where she gets out her knife and she shivs the clickers in the neck. So yeah, a lot of cool like little game things. Henry and Sam are safe. They get out from under the car and they start running. Then Kathleen's back out of nowhere, and she's gonna kill Henry like no matter what. If it's the last thing she does, she's gonna kill Henry. And it's the last thing she does, but she doesn't kill Henry. The acrobat clicker, the child, from the car, broke out of the car and is now on top of Kathleen, literally going like this to her, and then bites her neck. So she's dead now. And then it goes from like all this chaos, all this screaming and stuff, to just like silence. Joel, Ellie, Sam, and Henry are at a motel. They're all in this motel room, and Sam and Ellie are in like the bedroom area, and then Joel and Henry are in the living space. The dad figures start bonding. Joel seems to really like Henry, and he offers if Henry wants to come to Wyoming with them, then he'd be glad to go. And Henry accepts, and they're gonna go to Wyoming together. Henry's very glad that Sam has a friend, and you can tell that him and Ellie are getting along very well in the other room. They're reading comic books, she's making jokes, and then Sam asks if she's afraid, because she never seems afraid. Ellie basically is like, don't I look afraid? He's like, no, never. Ellie, after making a joke about the situation, then says that she's afraid to end up alone. Sam takes the magic slate and writes down to Ellie, which is how they've been communicating through this conversation, and writes, if you turn into a monster, is it still you inside? And then shows Ellie that he got bit in the whole process of trying to escape. Ellie explains that her blood is medicine. She shows him her bite that is not infected, and she cuts her hand open and rubs her blood on his wound. They hug. Sam asks for her to stay awake with him, and she does. She sits in the chair right next to his bed. She wakes up in the chair, and Sam is facing a window with sunshine coming into it. And she goes and taps his shoulder, and he attacks her because he is turning. He attacks her. They are in the other room now. The fight goes into the other room. Sam's on top of Ellie, and Ellie is yelling. Joel and Henry both go for the gun. Henry gets it first. Henry points the gun at Joel. Joel goes to help Ellie. Henry shoots the floor, so Joel can't go help Ellie. And Ellie is yelling, and Henry shoots Sam. Henry is obviously extremely distraught because he just had to shoot, like, the only thing that matters to him. And he keeps saying, what did I do? Henry then turns the gun on himself. And at this point, I think Joel and Ellie are devastated. The next scene is Ellie and Joel burying them outside of the motel. Ellie takes Sam's magic slate and writes, I'm sorry, and puts it on top of his grave. And I was devastated. This was so sad. I think at this point, that's the thing that just kills Ellie. Like, any semblance of child that was in her before is now gone. I think at this point, she becomes a new person in her overarching journey. That is that's my breakdown of everything that happens. I don't have any crazy analysis for this. I kind of threw it in the middle of my breakdown this time. I don't think there's any overarching things I wanted to say. It really followed true to the game. The actors who played Henry and Sam, who are Lamar Johnson and Kevon Woodard, did an amazing job. Just fantastic. It was so good. Their performance was so amazing. I've played the game. I cried again. It was just so fantastic. They brought the characters to a new life, and I just thought they did such an amazing job. I really enjoyed the Kathleen storyline. Kathleen was a great character. I really liked the role she played. I really liked how she showed the irony of the certain values that people would have in these types of situations. I also love that they made the character of Sam deaf. I thought it added a new element to the story, and I thought it was really amazing. And I love that they hired a deaf actor, and I just thought it was fantastic. Also, props to Bella Ramsey and Lamar Johnson for learning ASL for this. They did an amazing job, and I just thought that whole portion of the story was great. This has to be one of my favorite episodes. It really lived up to all my expectations, and my expectations were high. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I really love this episode. Let me know if you love this episode down in the comments. Let me know how you feel about this review, and if you have any comments for me on anything you'd like me to do differently or anything you'd like me to do more of. Thank you everyone so much for watching. please feel free to like, subscribe, and comment on this video, and turn the notification button on because I've been posting a lot recently, and I think I have some good content that you might like. Thank you again, everyone, for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye! I'm just gonna sidebar at this point to say that when Joel is reloading this sniper, this new gun, don't make fun of me. It's a sniper like gun, okay? But he reloads his gun and he's like, and he's so sexy. He's so handsome in that moment. I was like, oof. I got really out of it, but I appreciated it.